Want to do the bounce? Want to do the bounce?
I think it did the sound effect. But what did I used to have?
You had the big logo and it.
Oh, the camera's
in.
not. Oh, the camera's on you, Tom. So
Yeah.
there's. Oh, no one. Okay, I get it.
No, there's a
Do it again.
decent delay. Whoever talks, do it again, but I'll have to go and change stuff, bro.
What do you mean?
I have to. It's the wrong colours, isn't it?
We're live.
Yes, but Tom, you can't. The visuals of you not sitting in that chair are so
Important.
Yes.
important.
It's doing it
This
wrong
has been
anyway.
silly.
So what happened was, when we did the Carlton Essendon game live thingy, I started editing our profile on YouTube on OBS, and I accidentally deleted everything I had, so I had to redo it all last week. It was fucking hell. So I've clearly fucked a few things up.
Are you going to sit in the chair there, or are you going to sit?
Well, I'm waiting for you to say bounce that pill so I can hit the next thing. Then I'm gonna, I'm going to come over there.
We'll accrue audience for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to stay there for
I
a
won't be
couple of
involved in
minutes.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Unless you guys
You
want.
look very
Unless
funny
you
in the
want me
corner.
to.
What up, Jenny, Jen? Hello, Aiden. Hello, Michael. Hello, Ben. Hello, Ryan. Hello, James. Hello, Chelsea. Hello, CG Shapes. Hello, Jonathan. Hello, Nathan. Hello, Kay Whitaker. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Willie. Hello, Lockie. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Dalton. Hello, Marnie.
Hello, Broden.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I feel like I'm still getting there.
Yes.
Because, flu was...
Let's do a flu
Bad.
debrief.
Okay.
What were your... you lost your voice.
Well, I had like a proper infection. So like it was like, you know, when you swallow and
Yeah.
you can't, it was like razor blades
Gross.
in my throat. It was gross. So I had to go on antibiotics for my infection of my throat.
You sent us an audio of you talking about like going, I can't come in.
This is my proof. I can't come in.
And I had a vision and I had a realization hearing your voice is you're going to be a great nana.
Oh, I think so.
You'll be like, you
I
remind me
think
of
I'll
my
be great
nana when you're like, hello.
Hello.
Like
Yeah, I think so.
little nana.
Yeah, I'll be so tiny. I'll be so small.
Tiny little nana. You gotta go see tiny nana.
But I just slept. Like I fully slept for, I reckon, like the first 24 hours I was like out. I couldn't get out of bed at all. Like literally going to the bathroom was hard. Like I was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep food down. I threw up everything.
I think it was the worst.
It was the worst
one
I've
that
had
I've
for
had.
ages. Yeah.
If you were with us last week, you were watching me pretending not to have it as I was getting worse and worse, which was not good. But hey, we got through it.
Are you going to keep your hat and sunglasses on the whole time?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
cool. Yes, this is my. This
I'm
is
not
my,
allowed to wear a hat.
Every time we do this now, I'm going to have a different vision. Or the other week
Should
I
I
was
put my
Ken.
sunglasses on?
Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, it's going to really upset our socials people, but they, you know, different editor every week. You know what I mean? You got sunnies, Tom?
Yeah, let's pull him out of the hat. Who will be editing the video tomorrow, huh?
Who's got sunnies?
I don't know. So, you know I don't wear things.
You've got those. You got sunnies. You got spare sunnies.
You should know about me.
I don't have spare sunnies, sorry.
I have an affliction to dulling my senses, all of them. So I hate wearing.
he does.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate gloves. I hate glasses.
Oh, really?
Anything that
I love it.
Earplugs. I hate it all. Anything that dulls the senses.
Delves.
Dulls the senses.
I actually kind of like, I feel a bit more comfortable when I've got sunglasses on. I even just like, if you ever see me like do a TV spot with my glasses on, it's, you know that I'm feeling like uncomfortable or anxious because
right.
I know that it doesn't because it barely does, but I feel like it just hides me a little bit. Like I kind of feel more comfortable with it on. So I feel a bit, although I look ridiculous. I'll take these off.
That makes sense.
You feel uncomfortable with them?
I
Cool
look
as.
because they're so dark. Like this.
You feel cool? I think you look cool.
Do I look cool? Do I look cool? Do I look cool?
Gucci.
We look like the Cool Blues Brothers, I think. Bum 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 bum. It's just this for an hour.
What can I say in the
Bum
chat?
bum 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 bum. Women.
How come I can't see the chat anymore?
I don't know why. What, make
Did
it
you break
wider?
your?
I'll
did you
show
break
chat.
your computer?
Show chat?
You got to show the chat.
Give me 5, folks, of how you're going. What's news? Tell me what's about. What's going down? I haven't seen you in a couple of
Apparently,
days.
I look rich with sunglasses on.
Rich. Marnie looks rich with
So I was
sunnies.
trying to get across with the Gucci comment, but I didn't know what I was saying.
Gucci comic.
These are Gucci vibes. That is very fair.
Thank you.
They're also,
feel
I think they're like
validated.
Prada.
Can you put a poll?
Oh.
Can you put a poll up for me?
Yeah.
Sunnies or no? No.
Should I just message Tanya directly or?
No.
in the chat?
The chat can decide.
All right. Actually, have I ever done a poll on here?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, you
About
have
who
polls.
you should tip.
Oh, how did I manage to do that?
You've just written poll. In
That's because I got to do it on here.
Poll.
Yeah, I thought that would be funny.
So Tom's left. But you're feeling better now?
Yeah, just tired. Just really, because also just like it's a week of just being in bed. So like I haven't exercised properly in a week. I haven't really eaten. Like I managed to eat something today. Like I had a piece of toast and I had some sushi actually when I was waiting.
Oh, yes.
But it's not like I've like had like a lot of nutrients going in my body for the past.
I feel similarly.
week. Yeah.
I feel similarly, or I haven't. Yeah, I feel just cooked.
Are you on a steroid come down?
Yeah, today or yesterday was my first day without steroids, and I felt absolutely atrocious.
You did.
But my bones feel more full.
You should drink lots of milk to refill your bones.
Okay, fucks. Are we doing sunnies or no? Great.
Oh, people want the sunnies.
Oh, oh my god! I love seeing it live like that.
But then it disappears. How now? Are you getting it? I don't see it anymore.
Well, after you vote, it goes away.
Okay. And when will I see it? When will?
I can see it on my end, you see.
Oh my god, we do need a soup sponsor. If anyone wants to sponsor us, that is from Soup Place.
Soup.
I love soup.
Well,
love soup.
Cyclone tools are the soup of the garden, and Dove soap is the soap of the shower.
I use Dove
Soup.
deodorant.
Soup. You said soap or soup?
I said soup, but
Okay.
you can
Soup
take
soap.
Yeah, we have the soup soap. I mean, is a bath not just a soup, a soap soup?
Soap soup.
You know what I mean? Is that not just
Bang on,
soap
Marns.
soup? Yeah.
Preach.
Thank you. I don't
Soaps.
have a bath in the place that I live, and I miss it. I miss having a bath.
I don't have a bath.
I don't have one either. I think like when I moved into the place, I was like, I'll be fine. But
How's the poll?
Or
I think I just put
71
in
on
the chat
yes.
for you.
71. Okay, so I'm wearing sunnies.
108 votes. Thank you, everyone.
That's really
Human
nice.
soup, yeah. A bath is human soup. That is.
Who's
gross.
calling me? Who would be calling me?
Answer it. Put them directly on.
No, absolutely not. That's really speculative.
Yeah, well, answer if you need to.
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I do not answer the phone. Full stop.
I'm
Oh my
working.
god! Someone says that I have a bath and shower in one. Yeah, I used to have a bath and shower in one. It was so good because you could sit in the bath with the shower coming on you, and
Yeah.
it was so you would just sit there. Oh my god, it was so nice.
Sometimes I go out in the rain
Do you?
and I go,
Just
why?
sit in the rain? Cry about losing.
Yeah,
to
about the D's falling
Westminster.
apart.
Yeah.
Shall we crack it in? All right.
Ready when you are, baby.
Welcome to the footy. In Australia, particularly in Melbourne, it's really, really cold. On the day of recording, it was 1 degree overnight. But don't worry, we're going to warm you up with some with learning about football and sport. Last week, illness hit this podcast, but now Marnie is back. I was going to try and be more poetic, but I couldn't. Marnie is here. So that means it's time to bounce that hill. June 20, folks. And as I sit here on a Thursday, as you listen, and I remember how the guy who's in charge of the fixturing said that it's too cold to go to the footy on Thursday nights, and I said bullshit. I'm now fully on his team. It's too cold to go out and do anything. Welcome to the footy with mates. It's Thursday, folks, and the return of the boss. Please welcome Marnie. I want to say Vinyl.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
How you feeling, mate?
Do you want my honest answer?
Yes.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Coming back from a flu is difficult because I just haven't moved my body in so long. And also, it was like proper cabin fever again, like
Yes.
just being by myself in my home for like 4 days straight where I was too sick to even read a book. So I just had nothing but the TV and podcasts.
Yeah, it makes your brain go all mush.
Yeah. And my mental health kind of like hit the ground.
Did you
like I was
tick and
like,
tock?
I didn't see anyone. No, I've been trying to stay off like TikTok and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
I even like was too sick to like chat to anyone. My best friend's in Italy. So that feels really selfish of her.
They didn't want to talk. They didn't want to talk to you, or
No, she has been, but it's really cute. It's kind of thing where like she'll be like, "Good night, I love you so much," and I'll wake up to that. So I'll be like, "Good morning, I love you so." You know what I mean? Like it's very cute. But I just and so I feel like my mental health, and that's meant that like my anxiety's kind of been a little bit up quite a lot recently, and my energy's been down. But I'm very excited to be here. I actually was feeling a little bit mushy last Wednesday when I was like watching this because it was I was just like, oh my god, I just love this community so much. I was like
nice.
sick in bed by myself.
That is nice.
I would have happily swapped. I would have happily been in bed.
Yeah.
But then I went home and watched some Hitler.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Good Hitler.
Okay.
He's bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Bad. Good coverage of bad Hitler.
Okay, great.
But we digress.
Yeah.
It's been a huge week of sports stuff.
Yeah.
And we've got so much to talk about. We don't have time to tarry. How are you, Tom?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Your sign's already down. I'd love you to pick it up and put it back up in the.
No, I refuse.
Should we get you a new sign? Or
I don't approve of the sign. It's Broden's thing that he's doing.
Okay.
Fine, I'll fucking do it.
Honestly, also the bickering between the two of you, I feel like has just increased a little bit in the last
It's
couple of weeks.
my only angle of humour, you know, so
It's very
I've got to
funny.
hold on to it. But can I just quickly do a
That sign
divergent?
is absolutely cooked. I'm gonna
And
take
that's
a
how
photo of
Broden
this.
feels about me, and that's how he values me, is what I would say.
Okay.
Look at the sign that Broden has for himself. The Footy in neon. Brought to you by the Kings of Neon.
I can't
$1,000 sign. And all,
780.
and all I have is this beautiful cookie dough Kit Kat that Marnie has bought for me.
Is it
Yeah.
nice?
I
How
like
is it?
it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Well, it's because isn't that like when you make cookies, like the dough is like kind of the best part? Like you eat the dough before you put it in.
And I don't even think this is good cookie dough. I just like it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you'd eat this and be like, oh, good cookie dough cut through.
Well, does it just taste kind of like soft sugar in a Kit
Yes,
Kat?
it just tastes of sugar.
If it
There's
was
no-
real cookie dough,
yeah.
you would be at risk of brain damage
Why?
because food poisoning, the bacteria in things that are,
Oh, it'd have to be refrigerated. Yes. Yeah, because it's got butter and stuff in it, which would...
egg. I think is a huge thing.
egg,
Yeah, that's true. If you had proper cookie dough, it's very risky. You could get a bit of the
How do they
Especially if
do
you're
it?
pregnant, don't do that.
salmonella,
Don't do that.
and don't have soft cheese in a chocolate.
How
if
do
you're
they do it
pregnant.
in Ben and Jerry's?
I was actually thinking
One at a time, guys.
I need
One
to
at a time, please. What are you talking about?
Cookie dough in Ben and Jerry's.
That's
that was
frozen.
so aggressive.
It's below zero. Very good, bread.
But I don't think that's
Pass the
real
test.
cookie dough. I don't think that's real cookie
Well,
dough.
see, I'd accept that in this Kit Kat. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marns.
Oh, I was just thinking about how rough it would be to be pregnant earlier today because I was like, should I have another coffee? Because I'd already had 2. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it suck to be pregnant? You can only have 1 coffee. And I was like, you also couldn't have wine. You also couldn't have all these other stuff. And you have to be tired because you're growing a human.
But then you get to make a baby whenever you want.
Well, not whenever you want. I think a lot of people struggle.
That's true, no, very true. But like every 9 months, I know my sister-in-law.
Every single 9 months, there's a baby.
My sister-in-law, Kate, shout out Kate, just turned around and had another one straight away.
Really?
God, that's
And
so impressive.
She got
and
little
cool.
Winnie, my niece, and she's walking around, and she's like the same age as your.
Yeah,
as
pretty
your-
much.
as
Months apart,
Atlas.
I think, yeah.
And she's like, I'm really tired. I'm like, that's because you've decided to have a baby straight away again.
Yeah.
And she's
It's
like, well,
beautiful and brutal, I'd say, at the same time.
My dad's in some fights in the chat.
Well, who's he arguing
I
with,
didn't
Marns?
see something like, let's fucking go, Greg. Go off, Dad. And then he's commented, I've just had 1 or 2, many in brackets, rum and cokes. Please forget any comments I made.
well, that's great.
Someone's commented the vinyl family drama. I don't know what's going on. I'm involved in it.
What? Not good podcast tent, but it's worth exploring at a later juncture. We've just seen as the TV, there's some big dramas around Sam Taylor, which we need to go into detail about.
Yeah,
Something-
I heard about
a
this.
ruptured body part.
Yeah, sounds awful and really painful.
Yeah. All right.
Shall we do some news?
We shall do some news.
Time for the Marnie news with Marnie News. Oh, wow, that was some good news. Yeah. Is it go dun 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 dun?
It's a little more BBC horn fanfare, ba 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 ba, like that sort of vibe.
I think that should replace it. You doing that? I think that'd be good.
All right, just for today's episode.
Just look at you, don't do that. You fucking joking.
Yeah, that sounds difficult.
Marns, I had to go through last week, and there was a whole article about John Setka, who works at is a major labourer unionist, and he's saying how the new head of the umpires boss, if he's involved, then they're going to slow down work on AFL related. I was like, I don't know. Would you have brought that up?
No, I don't think I would have brought that up. I don't know.
The unions were strong arming the AFL for using this guy that he doesn't like. And I was like, that's how do I broach this in a thoughtful way? And I was like, let's just avoid it.
Yeah, no
Thoughtfulness. What?
That is a lot to say. Happy that you're here with the news. And what are you leading with?
Well, I was going to leave with the potential draft changes that will be coming next week. So the AFL will update clubs. It's projected next week on any potential changes to the draft system. So this has come after the league kind of flagged an overhaul as soon as this year. And Laura Kane over the weekend did say that these changes might come into effect as early as this year's November draft. And the changes will be to the draft points bidding. So for the bidding for academy and father-son prospects, as well as the draft value index, which basically just comes down to...
You don't need to explain that. That's pretty straightforward. It's not.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, but I've written so many notes.
No, please.
A little bit.
I'm so confused.
Okay. So basically, there's going to be a likely rise in draft costs for clubs to pay in order to secure high-end academy or father-son prospects.
You'll pay more.
Yes, so you'll have to pay more for like a Nick Dacos. You'll have to pay more to match the bids for Gold Coast Academy prospects. And it comes amid the AFL's competitive balance review. So this is all in the hopes of trying to equalise the competition.
Yes.
Which I think is a fair endeavour. The issue comes is because there's been a lot of mixed reactions to this from different people from clubs, and I think that the whole thing has been a little bit like messy. I would
definitely,
say, in its handling.
Yes.
So the clubs with access to the elite talent that will be affected in this year's draft through like father, son, and academies are Adelaide, Brisbane, Carlton, GWS, and Gold Coast.
I don't see any issues then.
All decent teams.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's also like in the reactions that have come, you've had like Sydney. Boston, like Tom Harley's been like, yeah, that seems fair. Seems like adequate changes.
Yep.
But then you've got like Michael Voss from Carlton being like, well, these are significant changes that are really going to affect us. Like the way that we approached last year's draft was that they had enough points to fulfill and execute the strategy that they wanted in the following draft.
Yeah, because you can trade futures and you can blah, blah, blah now, right? So that makes sense.
So they have planned through father and son to get particular elite talent in this year's draft that they
These two
might now
twins?
be. Yes. I
Yeah.
don't know how to pronounce the last name.
I don't know who they are either, but
Who got twins?
two cool
Carlton.
twins, coming to Carlton.
What's their last name?
Someone like famous, like really famous.
Hold on.
Kudafides?
Yeah, like something like that.
Yes.
Not
It's-
Kudafides.
No, it's a
Campriali.
Campriali twins.
There's Campriali twins?
Yeah.
So they're both, so the
Wow.
Campriali twins.
Are they good? Are they?
Yes.
Well, good enough to be both drafted, right? So
And a lot of these changes do kind of hinge. Well, I also think because like we're looking at it through a Victorian lens, being a Victorian newspaper, that at least what I've seen is like kind of come through the Carlton lens of like how this will affect that.
them directly, yep.
And yeah, kind of. And Laura Kane has said that there's been constant dialogue with the clubs. So the clubs knew that this was coming. And when she kind of talked about it over the weekend, it was not going to come as a very big surprise to clubs. But then you've had a lot of other people quoted saying otherwise.
Yeah.
So you've had like Fox Footy said that they spoke to one list manager who said that they've had like plenty of warning, but they've also spoken to other club sources that says that they were really surprised by the changes.
Yeah. Who do you believe? If you're not on record, I would love for someone to come on record and say we weren't warned.
Well, I mean, Michael Voss kind of has, right? Like his
What did he say?
So his quotes were, it's significant regarding the changes. If we look at the decisions that were made 12 months ago, there's decisions that would make differently, would position ourselves in this year's draft very differently to we have.
Yeah.
So that to me is implying that last year's draft, they had no idea.
Yeah.
And then you've had a club source go on the record to Fox Footy saying that last year they got it in written, like they had it in writing that there would be changes.
Yeah, could it be
right.
that Voss is talking about specifics and...
Potentially, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because it does feel like there was a lot of vagaries. Like, hey, I remember last year, this system needs to be looked at. It will be looked at. And we discussed it
Yes,
on
yeah,
pod. So
yes, yeah.
maybe everyone knew there were changes coming, but...
Because she went on all the shows on the last Saturday and was like, yeah, there's a good chance it might change this year. And then everyone's like, that's a bit late. And it's like, well, the clubs know.
Yeah.
And then everyone went, no.
Doesn't sound exactly
Yeah. And my hot take of this is just like, I just want everyone to remember all of their frustration that they are feeling around not knowing what's going on, and then just apply that to the fucking AFLW. Like, this is what we go through every single day.
So there's no warning for anything.
There's no warning for anything, and everything changes last minute. And every time that AFLW people bring this up, they always get told, like, you just whinge about everything. And I'll be like, look what happens when you get a last minute change. You all whinge your bloody heads off.
Have we talked just to divert for a brief moment? We talked about state of origin with W.
Yeah.
But I've seen a little bit of mutterings around the idea of international.
I know, how cool. Let's do it all Irish I don't know, all
The
stars.
international rules. Yeah, the other just the Gaelic international rules, because half the guns in the W at the moment are from Ireland.
Yeah, like every club has really good, like, has gun Irish players.
It would be closer to a genuine contest, and that would sell out up there. When we were up there, it was on the telly, and then it would do really well down here as well.
It would do so well, and I would love it.
Yeah, me too.
I would love it.
Genuinely, I would. I would love it. Yeah, because no one wants to watch the men's do it anyway. But there would be so much heat for that. News story number 2.
I just thought would really quickly, new inductees to the Hall of Fame on Tuesday night. So Jason Dunstall has been elevated to legend, and I think the other really big one was that Dane Swan is now in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
If there's anything, do you want me to go through the others?
I looked at all the faces, and I'm sorry to say, I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think Doug Platten might have been there.
I don't know who that is.
He was a star of Hawthorn from Adelaide that I used to see at Marion shopping centres all the time.
Talking about things being handled kind of messily, I also think that the Christian Petracca fallout has been particularly interesting for a number of reasons.
Spicy.
It's been spicy. And so, like, up top, I think everyone knows by now, but Petracca has been diagnosed with 4 broken ribs, a punctured lung, and a lacerated spleen. So he needed surgery. He went in at 2 a.m. and he had to have that surgery with his eyes open because he couldn't have any general anesthetic.
Let's talk about that. So he had surgery. They cut him open.
Yeah.
And fixed his spleen.
Yeah.
And he was awake like when mum has a C-section.
Well, he said he was gassed up, so I assume he could have gas, but he couldn't have general anesthetic because his blood levels were so low, and they need to monitor that because that's like one of the important things you need to monitor when someone's having surgery. So yeah, he was awake, and that gives me, there are times where I'm just like, you know what? I'm actually so happy not to be an elite athlete. Like, I'm actually so fine to not put myself in the situation where I would need to have.
From my perspective as a fan as well, I know Jason Dunstall. Yes, of course I know Jason Dunstall. But from my perspective, as a fan as well, my experience of that week was I was 20 meters from where it happened. I saw it happen. I saw him laying down and go, oh, okay. And my opinion was like, all right, he'll be right. And then I went home, got grumpy about my team, went to work the next day, just completely no connection whatsoever to what this guy was going through, and you just never think about all that awful stuff.
Genuinely horrible. I have to say, credit where credit is due to the Collingwood players who noticed that Petracca, like even Gawn's come out on record being like, I was yelling at him to lift because he wasn't. I don't think he was performing at his best, and Gawn's obviously like apologized for that now. But the Collingwood players being like, he's actually cooked. We're not going to bump him. Like, they actually didn't, and they flagged it, being like, there's something wrong with Petracca. He needs to go off. Like, that's, I actually think that that's actually really
the modern game
good of the Collingwood players to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so One thing that I think is really interesting about this whole thing, and Damien Barrett also pointed this out on AFL Daily, was that Petracca has been in a lot of control over the information that has come out. So usually when players get injured like this, it would be a club announcement, but he's done it all himself. Like he
broke it before Melbourne did.
Well, yeah, he went on radio to say it, but in every point of this, like it's not even just like the 4 broken ribs and the spleen, and which is obviously like the injuries are so bad that you could assume that that's season ending, but he was the one to be like, this my season's done. It wasn't Melbourne that's come out and said it. And so like all of these avenues that would like the clubs would usually be the one to relay all of this information, but instead Petracca has been the one to relay all this information. And I kind of like when players can be in control of their own narrative like that.
Yeah, I wonder if he was approved to do that or if he just did it. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. And then there's that SEN and Nines, Footy Classified, have reported that Petracca's family have been quite frustrated with Melbourne and Goodwin in particular. But then Goodwin has predictably denied that there's been any discontent between him and the family.
I don't know what's happening there, but I'm frustrated with the fact that I never hear like there's discussion that the doctor have done the wrong thing. Yeah. And the only people who've talked about it in the public to this point are Goodwin, the players, and the player. And nothing from the CEO who's in charge of the entire football department or from the GM football or from the president or anyone. This just seems with Melbourne that there was a lot of people when we were winning every week who were really happy to stand at the gate and hug and get their face on camera.
Yeah.
And then as we've gotten worse, they've in a cowardly way disappeared their face. Like they're no longer seen. I'm calling out Kate Roffey. I'm calling out Gary Pert as 2 people who have gone missing. That's my hot take.
Well, also, like, how do you feel like watching it through watching all of this happen through your fan lens? Because also your star player is now out for the season.
Yeah, awful.
But also, like, you obviously would have like an empathetic take for being like, well, he works so fucking hard. Like, even like when you think about all those Red Bull camps he was doing in the off season, like I don't know anyone who has put in as much effort as Petracca on like key details as well, and like all of these really small, minute things that he wants to improve, and now he's just out. Like that sucks.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's part of sport to lose people all the time and stuff like that. His welfare is the main thing. But it sucks. It can happen to any team tomorrow.
Yeah.
Apart from Sydney, who have 48 Petraccas. It could happen to Carlton tomorrow. It could happen to the Essendon. It could happen to any team where your star just is gone and that's your season. We see it in the NBA all the time as well. Like it's brutal.
Well, let's talk about Sydney then, because at the start of the season, it was like, well, Mills is out, and at the start of the season, Parker was out, and they were like, oh, all their stars are out. They're not going to have a good year. And instead, like, everyone has stepped up. Like, do you think anyone at Melbourne's going to step up and fill that hole?
No. Well, no, I don't.
A and B, obviously.
I saw someone the other day on like a forum do a post. Now is Alex Neil-Bullen's chance.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I might just go to Japan for 6 months then.
Can I say one thing on this really quickly before we move on? It's just I think we do sensationalize some things sometimes. And I think the parents and the family have every right to be concerned. And I think if it was my son, I would, even if Melbourne did things perfectly, I would be screaming the fucking house down, saying, how dare this happen to my son? How the fuck was he allowed to go back on?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he wants to leave Melbourne or he's unhappy with Melbourne or whatever. But I think sometimes we take the truth, which is 100% they would be upset, and turn it into something else, which is that, you know, maybe he'll ask for a trade and stuff. And I just think that stuff is
no, I think that's a bit out of hand. But I do think it's also, what's the word?
Conflated?
Yeah, with the whole discontent around Melbourne and the whole, like, are there culture issues at Melbourne and, like, the stuff with Clary and then
that's
all
fine.
of the other. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like that stuff's brewing, so this is just, like, added to another thing. So it's, like, kind of easy to be like, another thing.
Am I right in that no one's come out and said the doctors have done the wrong thing?
No.
That hasn't happened anywhere.
No, I mean, there's a lot of fan takes, but I don't think there's been any experts.
No, Laura Kane was happy. Like Christian
AFL
wanted to go. Christian wanted to go back on. You know, they didn't run any tests because he said he was okay. if they had have run tests or they had have known more information, obviously they would not.
It's like
I've left him bad
internal
on,
injuries
but
that you can't really.
you can't
it's hard to
see,
diagnose.
like, or you could, and it's like the same. If you go to hospital right now, and you go to emergency department, the first thing they'll ask you is, "What's your pain out of 10?" And if you say 2, guess what? You're probably going to wait for 36 hours. If you say 10, they'll go, "Okay, let's take your temperature. Let's look at this, this, and that." And
That's
if Christian said,
that's a
"I'm
little
fine,"
hack.
yeah.
Little hack for you.
No, genuinely. When I used to go to hospital all the time, my doctor was like, "Go in, say your pain's 11 every single fucking time." So,
No, Jared Waitley was very damning on it and went through the details of how long he was on the field after he went back on and whether that was a good thing or right thing. But just wanted to mark that as well.
Alrighty, Roo, talking about the AFL
Alrighty,
clarifying their stance on stuff, let's talk about the Roos, shall we? So
best.
many fans thought that North Melbourne should have been awarded a 50-metre free kick late in their loss to Collingwood because it looked like there were two Magpie players.
I like
my
mag
goodness.
players, though. Mag players is good though.
That overstepped the mark after Bailey Scott marked it. That 50 was not given. So, like, the calls there were either play on or stand.
Yeah.
Neither happened.
Neither
50
were
wasn't
ever
awarded.
called, yep.
Collingwood would win the game by 1 point. And then Laura Kane has come out and said that that was the right call.
Yeah, or she was like, the problem was with that the
Umpire didn't make a verbal call, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Pies weren't to know is basically what.
Yeah.
what was said.
And then Scott took a few steps. And so that seems like play on.
Did
Yeah.
we not have this exact conversation the other week between Gold Coast and Essendon?
Yeah.
Who were the two players that time?
Laverde?
Where a guy played on, the whistle wasn't called.
Sam Durham.
That's right.
Sam Durham.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
played on around
It
him.
was Sam Durham.
Yeah.
And the guy tackled him because he
he
played
started
on,
running.
but it wasn't called.
Yeah.
So it was 50.
Essendon got the 50. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just completely. Yeah, there's been so many examples of when this is not the case. So I don't think the AFL should have signed off on this.
I felt like this was the one time that Laura Kane's been very actively vocal and really proactive in speaking. It's actually been very, very good for the most part. This is the first time there was a weird, like, doubling down on the wrong here is weird.
I had to check myself actually this week because Ross Lyon came out and said that he doesn't like all of the clarifications that the AFL are doing around umpire calls. And my immediate reaction was to agree. But then I realised that they're not for me. It's for the fans. Like the AFL aren't clarifying to clubs necessarily. They're clarifying to fans and they're letting the fans in on the thought processes.
Which is
and I was
good.
like, that's actually good.
100%, because I think we said it the other day, as soon as you vocalize that there's fault or you've made a mistake, most reasonable people will go, oh, okay. I'm not happy about it, but I get it. But it's when it's wrong and then you double down the wrong that makes it even worse. It's like gaslighting. It's like going, no, it's double wrong. You go, no, it fucking isn't. You just said the other day that it was this. And
I feel like that's literally what has happened now. There's been fuel added to the fire because what the AFL has said is just clearly not the case.
And Jared and Robbo,
It's
it
not how it's
really
been officiated.
stoked both of their fires.
Of course
Jared,
it did.
This is unacceptable.
Yeah, Jared's the most on the rules of anyone in the AFL.
And the other guy went,
But yeah, it's someone on everyone's saying this on X. It's not an original thought of mine by any means, but this weekend we'll see if the players just hear the whistle and keep running.
Yeah,
Because
good point.
apparently that's fine until you hear what
Do
the
we
umpire
want?
says verbally, even in front of 100,000 people at a grand final with screaming where people can't even hear the siren, but we have to listen out for the umpire's voice. It's just a recipe for disaster, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
they're doing okay across the board. The that was a good game.
doing
Some good
amazing.
speckies. North are great.
And I also would just like to, we've talked about it before, but like there's been so many rule changes for umpires and so many different directions.
Yep.
What is directives given to umpires, and they're doing the best they can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hardest
I know
job to
they make
officiate in
mistakes,
the
but they're
world.
doing the best they can.
Hardest.
What?
Yeah.
You may be able to see something reflected in the footy sign. Yes.
What can you see in the footy
They
sign?
can see the footy. They can see.
Yeah,
they
when
can
I was watching at home, you could see the footage reflected in the footy sign.
Of
from
Broden
the
watching
TV.
360.
Yeah. I know.
I'm going to make him turn it off every week now.
Someone,
Yeah, you get your 360 taken away from
Yeah.
you.
So we did a podcast with Maria Bamford on the Undone podcast, and I just had on my laptop in front of me the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
And my Tanya House Social's like, "What are you doing?" turn it off. And I went, no, well, it was an important game.
Yeah. That's how your brain works. You need something on.
I do.
For you to focus.
I do. I need visual, approval.
Yeah.
I don't know what that visual approval.
All I know is as soon as Broden walks into any room, in any hotel, any house, anywhere in the world, he puts on the TV.
I think that it's just a symptom of living in like modern day society. But I can't not have like anything in my ears. Like even if I'm just like cooking or whatever, like you have to put a TV show on or I have to put a podcast in. Even if I'm not like listening or whatever, like I just can't do with silence.
I find if I'm watching something, I'm like, I'm not listening to what they're saying, and then I'll start playing Tetris. And then I'll start hearing it better.
Yes.
That's how my brain...
Yeah,
so I play RuneScape when I edit podcasts, and the boys used to have a laugh about that in the office, but I'm like, if I don't play RuneScape, suddenly I'm Googling and I haven't listened for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas as long as I'm doing something with my eyes, then I'm listening.
Yeah. On Monday morning, some very interesting news dropped, which is that former AFL chief Gil McLachlan has now taken the reins at Tabcorp.
What's the problem with that?
Oh, I mean, I'm just pointing it out. I assume that you would have no issue with this whatsoever.
That's the feedback that I received from when I vocalised my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure with that.
People are so silly. It undercuts every decision Gil ever made for me. Like, legitimately, if he was being groomed for the head job at Tabcorp the whole time.
Well, they just signed a long-term deal with a rival a year or so ago, which limits what Tabcorp can do directly with Tabcorp can do with the AFL. Having said that, if anyone knew where loopholes might be...
exactly. Or what's the best way to combat that deal or to make sure we win the next deal?
Yeah.
How about hire the previous CEO? Like, it's outrageous.
I'll vocalize why I think it's a problem. So in the early 2000s, the ex-CEO, the second ex-CEO of the AFL, Andrew Demetrio, whose brother taught us...
At high school, maths and keyboarding. Remember keyboarding?
We had a keyboarding class. That's how old we are.
ASDF, JKL semi. ASDF, JKL semi.
That's where you should put your
We
hands
used to have like, speak it.
Okay.
Learn it.
We have
keyboarding.
Keyboarding.
we have lost the plot, but
Sometimes I do feel like a generation.
you had to learn how to keyboard.
We're old.
Anyway, so
Keyboard class.
when Demetrio left, he walked straight into Crown and he created Crown Bet, which was a new gambling, app, and where you could bet on games.
Sportsbook, yep.
And then the first deal he made was with the AFL to make them the partner. So he just went back into his old job, as many people do, and you make a deal with all your mates in your old job. But from that point on, I believe, and this is all me getting secondhand, go and look at the Alliance for Gambling's reformer, Tim Costello, and look at lots of other interesting places that have good information about Australia and its relationship with gaming. From that point on, I believed for every dollar that was lost to AFL spending, the AFL was taking a commission of it. So any person who someone loses their life to tipping a multi of the North game, North to win by 1 point. If someone lost 100 grand on that, a solid percentage.
It's like 50%, I believe, isn't it?
I don't want to say a number.
Oh, right.
But is going directly to the AFL's profit. So they have a direct line and investment in gambling going really well for them. And so that's the problem, is things like that being able to happen again, where relationships that are pre-existing can open the door to it becoming a larger and larger thing as part of the AFL. But then also it's also probably a dog whistle and a flag to say that we're not going to see reform anytime soon in the AFL. We're not going to see it start to reduce or go back to a more reasonable level, is what I would say.
Yes. I did see there was an opinion piece from us. Oh, God, I wish I knew who wrote it off the top of my head.
A great point from someone in the chat as well is there was an inquest last year into gambling and Gil McLachlan sat and
so that was 2022 inquiry into online gambling.
Yeah.
And so Gil's comments regarding that said, I said at the time that there's too much gambling advertising and there should be less. I haven't started yet at Tabcorp, so there may be different nuances and positions from where I was at the AFL, but broadly there's an alignment on that position. So he's saying he's sticking to that position, but he just took up the CEO position at Tabcorp.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
There was a talk for a while he's going to be in charge of Racing Victoria, and there was a lot that held off for a long time. Now he's just going to be on the board of Racing Victoria, I believe, or something like that.
But yeah, the line
not for me.
The opinion, Ed just basically said that this appointment just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it does, and that's an awful thing.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing really quickly. I think what you were saying, Broden, my understanding, and I could be wrong, like you said you could have been wrong, is it's even worse than what you said, because you were sort of saying that AFL gets a share of the profits. I believe they get a share of every bet put on.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
Oh, so it doesn't even have to be.
They don't even, like, you win, lose, whatever.
Yeah,
AFL is taking money. So AFL profits even when sports bet loses and when people lose. Like, it's just insane.
Good, but any other sizzling news?
I think that's all pretty good. I think we've covered off most of the main stuff. Can I do a really quick Olympic story, because we are now 36 days away from the Olympics starting, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So Brock Batty is a 17-year-old from Frankston, and he is part of our gymnastics squad, and we're sending our largest ever gymnastics squad to the Olympics with 13.
Yeah, squad.
With a record 11 women. So 11 out of the 13 are women. There's 11
Are they all your size when you
Oh my God. There's some that are smaller than me.
Yeah,
my Lord.
I know. And I asked Brock when I interviewed Brock, I asked him how tall he was, because he was just taller than me. I reckon he would be like 5'5", maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 17-year-old Brock Batty will be also the youngest ever trampolinist to compete at an Olympics in Paris,
dope.
which is so sick. And he had to change his training gym because he was jumping so high, he was getting dangerously close to the ceiling. So he had to move to a bigger one.
I imagine, and he's just going up against Ukrainians and people like the Eastern Europe stuff, I bet.
Well, yeah, he got the gold at the World Champions last
China,
year.
little
He
Chinese
edged
guys.
out Dong Wang from China.
Yeah.
But he will now be competing in the seniors.
Little muscular China guys.
They're
that'll be-
also small and muscular, except with trampoline, they also have to be really quite light.
Yeah.
So
Simone
interesting
Biles,
body.
from all reports, is 1'5". Like,
She's
teensy
so
tiny.
small.
But that's cool. Was that cool to meet them all? Were they all a bit
So happy.
locked in?
They were because they're like babies. They're also
Yeah.
like, they're so young and fresh faced, and they were just so excited. Like they were just taking so many photos, and it was at the MCG that was announced, and so all of their names were around the grounds, and they were like they were having so much fun.
Do you know much about how there was a bunch of Chinese swimmers who were found to have drugs in their system that were still allowed to compete?
I would say that is an ongoing investigation. Yeah.
You across this?
Yeah, didn't they they threatened to pull out and stuff, right? If
Yeah.
it was like investigated more. Or?
And reading between the lines of what Matt Horton said to me on Monday on air on TV, it's not fixed yet. Isn't that crazy?
It
What are we
is.
doing?
Yeah, no, that's insane.
Yeah, because there were so many Australians that were in and lost medals to Chinese competitors
'Cause
in those particular Olympics.
Yeah, Mac was not happy.
I bet he
And
was.
he had some very serious threats put against him and his family
Yeah, I
and stuff.
bet.
People
yeah.
putting like glass in his pool and stuff, and
Jesus
parents'
Christ.
pool.
Also, I want to say you had a very good point on Monday's experts. His hands are massive. They were covering half the desk.
Here you go, big long hands.
Big long hands.
But I want to know if it's a result of swimming too much or if
You're just born
because-
with biggest hands you've ever seen. Also, good job on Monday's experts.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well
Are
done.
you doing it again this Monday?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Who's
They-
on with you this Monday?
I don't know.
Oh.
They told me that they're like, say a hot take that's going to make you look really bad next week. And so I said, you got it. So I said, Dallas Mavericks are going to come back from 0 down and win the finals. And within 12 hours of the show going to air, they were eliminated. And
That is
so I was like, so that'll be funny. But know deep down if you're watching that I'm actually really smart, actually.
Yeah.
And I actually know. Shall we do a thing they call tipping?
Tipping. Tipping. Tipping.
Tipping it is. Tipping it is, and tipping is what the footy is about. For some people, do you find that with people like in different, like, because I'm like, I love footy and the way they played and the way North turned around, I really liked. But some people are like, oh, well, I tipped the other team. I'm like, yeah, but who cares?
Yeah.
I've had to let it go. There are definitely times where like I notice at the start of my tipping when I was doing it for the age that like it was actually impacting my enjoyment of games. Like even if games were like really good and it came down to the wire and I lost my tip, that I would actually be like quite negative.
Yeah.
A bit stroppy. And I was that sucks. Like that's such a good, and I'm not going to win anyway. And even if I did, I don't get a prize.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
I will say that I am beating Caroline Wilson and I am level with Kane, which
With the
Bang.
volcano.
yeah, with the volcano. Yeah, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah, that's me with Supercoach. I couldn't care less about tipping. I always forget about it anyway, but that's me with Supercoach, and that is the downside for sure.
Yeah.
The first game is Friday night at the MCG, and this is so good. Carlton versus Geelong, in many ways, the same colours,
Exactly the same colours.
Yeah.
but Blues don't claim to have any white,
Oh, but they do though.
but they do.
Well, you can't have a black logo on blue, on navy blue.
No.
So everything's white.
But they're not black and blue. They say we are the Navy Blues.
Yeah, but all the writing on it is right. It's always going to be white, right?
yeah.
Because
Well, except when it is Carlton Respects rounds and there will be orange.
Oh, cool.
Are they
Yeah.
going to do orange?
They
Are
always
still
put
doing
orange on their Carlton
I
Respects.
feel like I've never
Guernseys.
seen that. I'm going to look that up.
I would say respectfully to Carlton fans out there, I think Carlton has had some of the worst other Guernseys in the history of teams. Like they had their yellow one.
Oh, that's gross.
They had a
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's why I didn't notice.
a
yeah.
blue M&M one, like a hot, like
Yeah.
a navy, a royal blue. But I think there's a strange amount of people are going towards Carlton winning this. 85% by the AFL app, and I just think that is absurd, personally for me, because Geelong, despite the fact they've lost a few in a row, one of them was Sydney. They've had a bye, and then before that, there were some other really good teams they were playing.
Well, and they started really strongly against Sydney. If they play like that against Carlton.
Having said that, that's what Sydney do as well. They're like a Venus flight flap.
He's into it.
I know.
They just go, oh, we're asleep.
Just
And
kidding.
And then Marty kicks
Danger's
9.
back.
Danger is back, and apparently cherry ripe.
Really? I love
Cherry.
the cherry ripe. It's one of my favorites. The dark double coat is my favorite.
I hate cherry wrap so much. Cherry wraps and bounties. Get out of here.
I understand. Maybe you won't like the Dr. Oetker pizza after all.
Okay, which no one will understand the reference to.
They're
We
talking
had a-
Just a chat between friends, you know.
These two basic people in here were talking about how they actually really love frozen pizzas.
I do like frozen
And
pizzas.
I was recommending the fungi Dr. Oetker to Marns.
I have to stop myself because I'll often buy frozen pizzas when they're on special, like the small little margarita ones, the McCain.
Oh, yeah, they're nice.
Because I'll be like, oh, well, what if I'm like really hungover? I need something.
yeah.
But if they're in the house, I will eat them straight away. The cheese and Vegemite ones, I love them so much. But
Oh, I
every time
haven't
they're
had
on
that.
special, I'll be like, I'll get these for a rainy day. And then I eat them immediately
Yeah.
and I feel sick.
I love a rainy day thing that you eat immediately.
Well, in Melbourne, isn't it?
Yeah,
Every day, rainy
100%.
day.
Who's tipping Cats? Come on, one of you. I dare you. One of you. Come
Okay,
on.
I'll tip Cats. I mean, I've already tipped Carlton in paper, but
Yeah.
I'll tip Cats.
I'll tip Cats, but not really in any way. But yeah,
It should be a ripper match. It might be close. I can't imagine Carlton losing to anyone except for Sydney, to be
Really?
honest. Yeah, I think Carlton are easily the second best team.
you really rank them highly.
I think they're the only ones with even the slimmest chance of taking down Sydney at the moment.
Who have they lost to?
I'm not sure who they've lost to, but not many teams, right? 4 losses.
Well, they almost lost to Essendon, except Essendon I wasn't plus 20 inside 50s just to lose by 30 points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna
over it.
Hey, I'm going to tip Cats.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
yeah.
going to tip Cats by 7 points.
Yeah, good on you. I reckon, no chance.
Hell
But
yeah, go
I love
Blues.
the positivity.
Yeah, no, I'm a Carlton member, and so it's hard for me, but, I'm going to do it. And then Saturday afternoon, here's the thing, guys. Saturday afternoon, Port Adelaide Power taking on Brisbane Lions at Adelaide Oval. I'm going to go to this.
Are you actually?
What? I want to come. That's so fun. Why are you going?
Because you know how I love my footy and I'm a footy man.
Yeah.
I'm going to showcase that by performing at the Adelaide Cabaret Festival.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's so funny.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing the Adelaide Cabaret Festival on Friday and
What are
Saturday.
you performing?
It's it's called Comedians Audition for Musicals, and I'm going to sing a song.
What
Hosted
song?
by Ben Russell and Michelle Brazier.
Gypsy and Me.
How does that go? Do you like that one?
Long ago, so long ago. It's from a musical called Anything Goes, and it's a comedic part. And I've been performing on stage for 20 years,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to do an ode to my career
That's great.
and perform Gypsy and Me.
You should
That's
do it. I did it my
cool.
way, because you bloody just forged your own path.
Yeah, you're a trailblazer.
Yeah. Starting footy
For
pods.
white men.
Yeah, I'm a trailblazer. So I'm going to first, should I message them now? I'm going to message Port Adelaide, who message me occasionally.
About
get in
Pokemon. And what? See if you can go to a function? I'll come.
And let's
I wanna
message
come.
Port, and let's message Port.
I'll see if they'll fly me.
Let's just get me in first, all right?
And then you can smuggle us in.
It says
Also-
not everyone can message this account.
But they've already messaged
If
you.
they're
so you should be
following
able to-
you, then if you follow them back, then you can message them what you want.
it's not letting me do it on my laptop, which makes me think, have they
They've blocked you, Broden.
No, it's okay on my phone. So what should I say to them?
Hey, cool dudes, chuck us a tick, would ya?
No, well, okay. So cool dudes, I'm really on board with. Marnie, what should I say? Like, hey, cool dudes. I'm in Adelaide.
Yeah, because I immediately went to be like, I'll be in Adelaide on Saturday. I'll have a few spare hours. Is there any chance I could come to the game?
You should offer them tickets to the cabaret. I can hook you up with
If
tickets.
you'd like to come to the Cabaret Festival,
I can do a tick for tick with you.
Be like, but mention a player. Be like, if Connor Rosie wants to come to the cabaret.
the stats, the champion data stats are telling me that he's not as good as people say,
Thank
but
you,
he'd
Daniel.
still love the Cabaret
Yeah,
Festival.
great.
Dr. Hoyne has returned. So you haven't mentioned Hoyne for many, many weeks, Braden.
Well, I haven't been watching footy.
Also, Zach Butters is free to play.
Yeah, and he's
Big three.
You know, but if it's Lurpak, we want the Lurpak one of him playing, not the Western Star.
Yeah.
This game, really quickly, I'm very surprised that Brisbane are the underdogs. I think Port have been really bad and flaky the last few weeks, and Brisbane have been fucking shit hot.
Who'd they play
But
last?
just like it's so even Stevens.
Yeah, you're right, but I'm just surprised.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Brisbane will win this. That's my
I've
hot
tipped
take.
Brisbane.
Your tipping rival wants Ken out the door, I reckon.
Yeah.
So that's it's damning. And Warren Treadray's in there now, and he's a loss here could really turn things for Port.
Yeah.
This is probably a must win, right?
But then a win and they're what, top four? Is that right?
As a rule this year,
Yes.
Win in
yes.
your top four.
if
Exactly.
you lose, if you lose your bottom five,
Yeah.
if you win your top, you're like, hey, premiership, yeah.
Bang on, Brody.
Well, run for the flag. I mean, Essendon is still top four and they just lost their last two games. And this week, it's West Coast again. We'll get to that.
I'm going to tip Port so I can get a ticket.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Brisbane.
Yeah, but aim higher than a ticket. See if you can go to a function or something they've got there.
I don't
See if you can get in the room. Say good day to everyone.
Yeah, go to the rooms.
I don't want to meet them.
Oh.
Really? There's so many cool players.
Name them.
Connor Rosie, Butters, Jason Horn-Francis, Dan Houston, who kicked one of your favourite ever goals of all time.
Not my favourite ever goals of all time.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you've convinced me. I do not want to meet them. Saturday, 4:35, NG Stadium.
I'm so
Giants.
excited about this.
This is the do we call it the Derby?
I call everything a derby, but I think there might be derby across the border.
We got in a lot of trouble for this last time. Why don't we call it the Battle of the Bridge?
Oh, because they love that. Everyone
call it the
famously
Bob.
loves it. The Bob. Why is no one... Wait, the Battle
Bob.
of...
It's a bobber.
the-
Yeah, but you don't need to do the, right? It's like how
Battle
you
of
told
Bridge.
me you don't need an uppercase
Battle of
W.
Bridge.
You know?
So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
one you should tip Giants.
I would love Giants to win this. It would just make the competition so interesting.
I'm tipping them.
I
Yeah.
love you dreamers. You
I've
guys are
got
so
the
cool.
Swans. I've definitely tipped the Swans, but I want the Giants
You
to
want
win.
yeah, same. I'm much more team Giants than Sydney, but there's no way Sydney ever lose again.
I'm tipping Giants. At
you're out
NG
there.
Stadium, it's a different ground. It's gonna
Yeah, they'll have
be-
that home ground advantage of
Yeah.
30 people. Sorry.
No, they'll be full.
love you, GWS.
It will be full.
I love
It will be full.
Okay.
It'll
It
be full.
will
Of
legitimately, yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
god,
it
maybe
will be
I'll
cool.
fly to Sydney for this. Fuck it, that'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Dad, you want to go?
And you should message them though.
Well, he watches this. He's been fighting with people in the channel.
Do you even need to message people for tickets, Marns, or do you just flash your card at
Press
people
box.
and you walk in?
It would be a violation of my media accreditation if I was to use it and not be media for
But
the
you
day.
could write a little
Really?
article.
What if you cover it in the pod on Thursday? That's technically, yeah. Great.
But then we don't have press passes. This show doesn't
sadly
have
we
press
don't.
passes.
Yeah. Sadly, we don't personally. but,
I'm
you
tipping Giants.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tipping Swans, but I love the enthusiasm. I
got Swans.
hope Giants win.
Saturday night, D is North.
So North?
Oh look, it's
It's actually in the realm of possibility
Yeah,
that
I'm
North
tipping
win
North.
this.
I think. Yeah.
my hope for the D's is that North have run out of steam a bit.
Yeah, two really close games, not wins. I was about to say wins, but no.
Which would be a bit demoralising
Oh,
as well.
but not as demoralising as the D's
Falling apart.
falling apart. Their best
At the
player
spleens. Sorry,
is,
that was bad.
really injured. I don't know. I feel like, and Melbourne coming off a bye. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we've come off a bye.
Yeah, which is always a bad sign if you're not really together or you're having a bit of an up and down season. I think, I think North will win. Genuinely.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to tip D's, but I don't feel good about it.
I've also tipped D's, but I don't feel good about
Yeah, I've tipped North Melbourne like 7 times this year, so I've got to be right eventually. I
Sunday,
didn't
Good
tip the
plan.
wins though.
Sunday afternoon, Marvel Stadium, Bombers, West Coast.
I would like to remind everyone that the last time this happened, which was only a few weeks ago, Essendon only won by a goal.
That was so recently.
Yeah, it was so recently. So we haven't played Melbourne yet.
Yeah.
Essendon haven't played Melbourne yet, but we're playing West Coast twice.
That's crazy, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Isn't it interesting?
You're going to get another one here. You are going to finish second or third, I think. I have to pivot back. Let's talk about Sam Taylor very quickly. So he's got a ruptured testicle.
Yes.
That sucks.
Does anyone know how it happened? Like in training, I assume, right? Or
Have
to be, yeah.
Well,
I just, it might have happened in game, and we're just finding it now. I wasn't sure, but
I can't imagine how painful that would be, and how I would handle. Do you just not touch it?
I think I've seen like it in a TV show written into a TV show, and I think you just put giant comical bags of ice on.
And then just leave it and
Well,
hope that
all you can do is numb the pain.
What is it? Reform? What does ruptured mean?
Ruptured testicle. Yeah.
It explodes, right? That's what it means. Or it's cut internally, or it's exploded internally, or it's leaking internally.
Stop saying words.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, this is.
Break or
I'm
burst.
getting visceral.
Break or burst suddenly.
Oh,
Yeah. That.
yeah. It must have been a training mishap, right? Ouch.
No, he suffered it during the game against Port.
There you go. That's what I was wondering.
And a
Fucking
surgery the next day.
Oh.
I mean, good though, because then you go under. You get.
They put stitches in. What do they do?
They probably
Why don't
removed
you
it, right?
message GWS on Instagram and ask?
They probably got removed, Broden, I would say. It's quite common to have a testicle removed, like for testicular cancer and stuff. They
But I
just
think
put a
that would
wooden
be
one in.
different to a rupture.
Well, how's it going to repair itself, right?
But clearly, it might be able to regenerate.
Yeah, cells repair.
I'm thinking of like, Ren and Stimpy style cartoon where the eyes fill outside of the head and then
This is
explode.
making me feel sick.
That's what I'm envisioning. I'm like, how
The
do you
poor
come
guy.
back from
He's
that?
had
It's
such
awful.
a bad run this year.
And now you think he's got a wooden testicle.
Yeah, now he's got a wooden testicle. And I will bet you $200 for Sunday's dinner that Kane Corns comes out with a massive thing about long contracts tomorrow, because that's his whole shtick. Whenever a player gets injured when they've just signed like a 7-year deal, he comes out on fire the next day. So
$200 for dinner.
yeah, that's why I'm betting you.
What's going to be dinner?
Well, winner's choice, I guess.
Okay, but make it
Up to
interesting.
$200.
What can the listeners expect?
We three should go to Attica.
Oh my God, can we? Okay. If Kane comes out tomorrow, Broden has to take us to Attica.
I don't even know what are you talking about?
Yeah, deal. Okay.
It's
Great.
the footy with Broden Kelly after all, and it's the end of financial year.
Yeah,
so we're
take
gonna
us
have an
out to
end of financial year
Attica.
party at
What the
Attica.
hell?
We're
No,
not
but he's not verbal.
we are not in a financial position to do that.
No, we're definitely not.
In the last game of the round, Freo Gold Coast at Optus Stadium.
Wait a second. Are you tipping Essendon or West Coast?
Bombers.
Okay.
I'm tipping West Coast.
What a dad sigh that was. Remember that?
I know, actually, I forget. Essendon have been really good and really impressive. I'll tip Essendon against my better judgment.
Have they been really good?
Of course.
Absolutely. Like, I expected them to get slaughtered by the Blues on that game. And no, they just keep proving to me that they're not pushovers, and they will keep showing up, and they'll keep trying, and they will win games.
All right.
So
Yeah,
good on
tipped
them.
Bombers.
I still don't believe in them, but
Okay, yeah, no. For your sons?
Freo Suns. I'm going. I think I have to go Freo, but I don't. I reckon Giants Gold Coast after a little rest, will bring it, and then also you never know with this Freo side which one they are the flakiest of the flaky. I
Yeah.
think.
no, I think Dogs are more flaky.
Are you kidding me, man? The swing from 92-point win to pumped by the Bulldogs.
I know, right? Which is crazy, right? But I think Freo were just really poor in Melbourne last weekend, right? So they'll go home and be like, we have to show up this week. Gold Coast have been surfing all week. They don't show up away from home anyway. This could be a 100-point demolition, I reckon. 100 points. I'll bet you an etiquette dinner on. 100 points, I reckon, to Freo. They will absolutely show up.
All right, great. I love that. Cool.
Are we going to push back the pod and watch this, or?
4 p.m.
We won't watch it. We usually record at like 5:30ish, so
Oh, yeah, we'll push it back and finish
we'll
it.
push it back. We'll watch the game unless it's a buyout.
We can stream the back end if it's close.
Yeah, true. Which it won't be, but yes.
All right, great. Well, this is a hearty episode. It's like a big soup,
Like a big Attica dinner.
a big Attica dinner.
Yeah.
which 11 over 11 courses actually, fills you, but not overly.
Yeah, it's reasonably
Like this
priced over
podcast
11. Yes.
Yeah, not much to it, but all Australian nutrients.
Did you ask Shuri to come on the pod?
No, I can.
Yeah, you
I've
should.
never met him.
Well, he seems like a legend.
We should.
Yeah.
That's our way in.
Yes.
He's one of those guys, right? The guy who created Attica, one of the greatest restaurants in the world. The amount of the friends he has is clearly people going, I want to be his friend.
Yes.
So like the Imperfects podcast, they're all friends with him. Hamish Blake.
Yeah.
Why
not?
Hey,
Yeah.
let's be buddies.
Yeah. That's what I'm like. If I know someone who works at KFC, I'm like, hey,
No.
let's be mates. Yeah. Your staff discount.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you, Marns. Thank you. Good to have you back. I'm glad your voice has returned.
Me too.
Steroids are good. Tom.
Thank
see
you, fearless leader.
And this weekend is our chat with Damien Callanan.
Oh, yes.
He's one of the actors in the new film Emu Wars, which is doing a limited release in certain places, but also was one of the panelists on Before the Game. He was a teacher. He taught David Roden when he was a student.
Really?
He's a fucking gun of a guy. It's a really genuine good chat that we will do after this. We'll see you soon. Bounce that appeal. And then thank you everyone for watching. Had a good number. Stay with us for this whole one.
It was a great episode. You guys are really funny.
I think there's an avenue to us. Look, it's $3.60 per head, right? And would you pair? Would you want to pair drinks?
Yes.
Well, I'm not allowed to
you
drink.
Can't.
You're not allowed, but you can pair non-alcoholic.
Oh, well, if they're going to bring out a Coke Zero with every meal, I'm all for it.
It wouldn't be a Coke Zero. It would be like
Coke Zero for 11 Coke Zeros.
That's my biggest gripe with like long restaurants is they give you these tiny little glasses of Coke Zero and then you have to get a refill every time the waiter comes back. So if they brought a whole glass of Coke Zero with every what do you call it? Course, I'd be stoked.
Brendan Sotry made an Aussie football film, which we should talk about, called The Merger.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have like a movie club instead of a book club where we'll watch a sports film and then talk about it.
Have you-
We could do that in the summer break.
Yes, we can.
Oh, I like, and get an AFLW player to watch it with us.
Sure.
Why is it tipping?
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. My stream was just really far behind. I'm so sorry.
How embarrassing for you.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing. I'm so sorry, guys.
Thank you to the 300 people who stuck around and watched that with us. And for the cowards who don't chat, as I started to call you, people who just like to sit there quietly and enjoy, I call them cowards.
Oh, that was me last week. I didn't jump in till the very end.
Yeah.
And then in the chat, because I was like,
yeah,
I suddenly got
felt
a bit like,
yeah. I over-engaged in a couple that I watched and I was like, I shouldn't have done that.
no, you should. It's great. People love it.
No, chatting's, I feel the need. How is everyone going? It's freezing, isn't it?
It is so cold. Yeah. But my house is, although I have been sleeping with my hot water bottle. I mean, actually, when I'm at home, I just have my hot water bottle on me at all times.
Yeah.
It's so comforting and it's so nice. But I'll often fall asleep in it and then I'll wake up like an hour in and I'm just so sweaty.
Yeah.
Because I've literally fallen asleep clinging to like boiling water.
Yeah.
My phone now has a temperature thing on it
Oh, that's cool.
that I can put towards stuff and go, what's the temperature? And I put it next to my
Really?
bed. Yeah, look, watch this, right? So it looks like that.
Yeah.
And then you just click this thing, tap to measure.
No. Show me.
I'll do Marnie's head.
How accurate is it?
26.3 it reckons you are.
Cool. That seems accurate.
And then do me.
27.6. I'll do this can and drink, right?
Oh, because it has to be cold. You want to see something different.
Yeah.
I use my son
So
as a hot
impressive.
water bottle.
Oh, well, if I had a little son, I would. I'm gonna go see Inside Out with the Browns babies. I'm so excited.
Oh.
You know, like Hester and Ben
You're gonna
Brown.
go see
Yeah,
what?
so fun.
Inside Out 2. The one with like Riley and like all the emotions that come into her head.
Despite the fact that Despicable Me 4 is out,
Yeah.
which looks dope.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've
Minions.
seen the Despicable
The
Me.
kids love the Minions.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Gruen?
Yeah, Gru.
With the nose? Gru?
Gru.
I haven't seen it, but Addie's really into it.
He likes the Minions.
Oh my
he
god,
also
I'll
likes
go. I'll take.
monsters.
Does he want to come to the movies with me?
I'm sure he does. I don't know if he could sit there for long enough. It's hard to know with
Does he want to come
movies.
to Attica? Broden's paying.
Yeah, Attica. If Broden's paying, Addie will come for sure. Put him in a high
It's
chair.
actually no. I would shell out $300 for a very fun Attica dinner.
Yeah,
And we
totally.
could, and then we'll just do like pod content.
Yeah, we could.
And then we put it on
could-
tax.
We could live stream it. That's what cool live streamy TikToky people do.
Yeah, I'll do little TikToks.
It's the coldest it's ever been. It's actually the coldest it's ever been.
It was
This
so cold
morning.
this
It was
morning, yeah.
when I got up. I said to Annie, I said, we can't live like this. It's too cold.
Get a split system.
we got splitties, we got fires and stuff, but we didn't have a little oil heater for our room. But I've always lived in apartments, right? And I feel like with apartments, there's a natural insulation where like you're just surrounded by buildings, so it keeps the heat in. But we're a standalone house where we are, and it just the fucking freeze.
Yeah, it's built for summer more than winter, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what's great in Korea? They have the heating comes from the floor, so it's like the heated floor, and that's what heats everything. It's amazing.
That is
It's
good.
nice.
It just seems really efficient.
What I'm learning, it's about your windows and how much your windows let air in and how much they hold out, and you can get it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I put my blinds down to sleep now.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
big news. We got a RoboVac today.
Oh, cool. Do you like it?
Wow.
What does Shadow think of it?
I've not been home yet,
Oh.
so I've got to explore.
Shadow gonna eat it, man. My
No,
son fights the robot
My
as if Shadow's not.
Shadow's afraid of our vacuum cleaner, so my hope is that he is afraid of this.
Yeah, so I think my son literally thinks he's on those Robo Wars fucking... Remember that TV show where the two robots would go at each other? You remember this? Two robots would fight
Robot
each other.
Wars.
It was called Robot Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlas thinks he's on that.
That's adorable. That is so cute.
He
I want to
fights
see
the
that.
RoboVac.
Man, they're looking at that mark of Bobby Hill. That is the mark of the year, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, the way he came down.
It can be beaten this year, but it's going to take a bit.
It'll take him doing something.
Yeah.
Like, the only person that can beat Bobby Hill is Bobby Hill.
Greg saw Inside Out 2 and Soul.
I know. I just read that. Was it good? Because Dad, you hate animated films.
Onion. BattleBots as well was another version of it potentially.
BattleBots, right. Very
Where are
good.
you going to wear
That for the whole pod.
the sunnies?
I assume so. What else?
Yeah, I've got their prescription.
Yeah, make sure you send me that prescription. To
But then
pass
we
on
also
to social media team.
we also voted on the start of and people unanimously voted for it.
Yeah.
Do I
Maybe-
tell my story about why I've got them?
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. You didn't. It's not like you took advantage of it.
No, I walked into a shop. I walked into a Bailey Nelson. I went, hello. And they went, hello. And they started to try them on. And then they went, I've just checked with my manager. We'd like to offer you whatever you like here for free, as long as you wear them. And I went, yeah, give them. And then that's the story.
So it's good that you told the story because that was the whole point of it. See, they're getting fair value now.
And I tell you,
Why didn't you get some? I would love Bailey Nelson glasses.
they did say send Mark and Zach back.
No, what about me?
They actually?
Yeah. I said, Zach has 2020 and I'll tell Mark.
I was at the Australian Sports Museum the other day, and someone that works there came up and said that they love the pod, and if we want to ever do anything with them. I know it's a museum, but I love museums.
I love that. That
What
would be
museum?
sick.
Australian, so the Australian Sports Museum at the MCG.
No, we want to.
They love you guys, love.
Oh, yeah, we must.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like if they want to do anything.
Well, our mates at How Good's Footy, one of the guys there works at the Australian Sports Museum.
There you go.
We're going to do a live in round 24. It's looking like we might do a live podcast from the MCG.
Cool.
For
Can I do
Melbourne, Collingwood. And
I'm going to be dressed in Collingwood. Brian's going to be dressed in Melbourne.
You're going to be dressed in Collingwood.
Yeah, I want to make it fair and as if.
Can I come dressed as an umpire?
And
And I'll adjudicate.
Nah, I'm going to be Team Melbourne for sure. That's going to be so fun.
I might not go, but
Brian won't attend.
it'll be great. We should get out of here. Marns, you got to go to bed. You're still recovering from flu,
Yeah.
as am I. Tom, you've got stuff to do.
Yeah, got to edit this podcast, put it out for you guys.
Bit
Yeah.
of AFL players for climate change, as in against climate change stuff coming out. I'm going to an event tomorrow morning, so
Where?
watch out for that at the Age. Parliament House.
I'm pro nuclear power, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, and I'm really about that.
Okay.
I'm really about reversing back from all the work that's been kind of done for renewable energy resources and making this is what the Liberal.
No, I don't believe you.
The next election is going to be a sort of a vote on this.
Yeah, it's interesting what prejudice they grab onto to swing voters, isn't it?
Well, it's,
Someone's just said Daddy Tom's going to have to edit the shit out of this pod.
Nah, I never do. I just let it all free, guys.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you all later. Have a good one. Farewell. Keep on rocking in the free world, as I always say. And if I catch you, I'll see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.